Hey, what's going on? It's your radio love, Deja Vu on WBLS. Listen, I have all the music, but it's even better when we have the celebs stopping by. DJ Cassidy's in the building.
Yeah.
Welcome.
It's good to be home.
I know it is, right? So you're in LA now?
I've lived in LA about 5 years, but I was born and raised in New York City. So, you know, when I walk through these doors, I feel like I'm home.
What do you do first time you touch down? Are you craving like a certain pizza, pasta, soul food, Caribbean?
You know, for the longest time, there was a Cuban Chinese restaurant on the Upper West Side called La Caridad. That was a OG New York legendary spot, if you know kind of place. And it closed during the pandemic. And I was heartbroken, but I was living in LA at the time already. And I just found out that they just recently reopened a few blocks away. So that was my first stop.
Okay, cool. And then, of course, after that, you came over here to the radio station to talk to us.
Of course, look, I'm flying to Europe tomorrow. And I stopped in New York mainly to see you guys.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
I have to. So much to talk about.
Yes. All right. So first and foremost, we're talking about your Pass the Mic that's coming Sunday, Mother's Day weekend.
Saturday.
It's the Saturday.
Saturday, May 11th.
Okay,
Mother's Day weekend.
Mother's Day weekend. You have some of everybody there from Boys to Men to TLC. Talk to us about that show.
So last year on Mother's Day weekend, I brought Pass the Mic live to an arena for the very first time.
Right.
I essentially launched the Pass the Mic Live experience almost a year ago.
Right
I
here.
united with the Black Promoters Collective and Steve Rifkin to embark, really, on a year-long run of once-in-a-lifetime only experiences. And the first experience was last year, Mother's Day weekend, at Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. And we sold out the place top to bottom, 13,000 seats. And
wow.
Honestly, it was one of the greatest nights of my life. It was truly a dream come true, beyond my wildest imagination. And that show featured Ja Rule, Ashanti, Lil' Kim, Fabulous, Mace, 112, Neo, Robin Thicke, and a slew of surprise guests.
Right.
Like I'm known for. And since then, we've embarked on a series of absolutely epic one-night-only experiences throughout the country. Of course, we sold out Radio City Music Hall last summer. And this Mother's Day, we're bringing it back to the place where it all started, Prudential Center, Newark, New Jersey, with an absolutely epic lineup. You mentioned a few, but should I run through the whole show?
Come on, give it to us.
All right, so DJ Cassidy's Pass the Mic Live, Prudential Center, Saturday, May 11, 2024, Mother's Day weekend. I will be passing the mic live on stage to Boys to Men, TLC, Bobby Brown,
Major,
Method Man and Redman,
Yo,
Faith Evans, Total, and of course, a list of special surprise guests. It's going to be a legendary night. That's all I really can say.
I can already tell. It's already going to be amazing. We've been giving out tickets for it. Go get your tickets for it before it sells out.
And it will sell out, and it's very close to selling out. And I encourage everyone to get your tickets now. You do not want to wait until the week of. You definitely don't want to wait until the day of. Last year's show sold out top to bottom. When I tell you that close friends and family were calling me the morning of asking for tickets, I couldn't buy a ticket. There were no tickets left. I'm not just saying this. It's not a sale pitch. I'm so grateful. I'm feeling so blessed. I'm so appreciative of the support. And to everyone listening, I need you there. This is going to be an epic night. Every show tops the last, and I have so many surprises in store, and it's really going to be a legendary, historic night.
I know the energy in the building is going to be crazy, but I want to rewind because when did you start Pass the Mic? Was it during the pandemic or had you done it before?
No. So I conceived of Pass the Mic exactly 4 years ago, April 2020. I was home late one night, as we all were.
Yeah.
FaceTiming with my friend and mentor, Verdine White of Earth, Wind, and Fire. Here I am, lying on my red velvet couch in some black silk pajamas, FaceTiming with my mentor.
Paint the picture. He said red velvet, black silk. Oh, my gosh.
And I'm FaceTiming with Verdine White. And for those, of course, who know Verdine White, he was dressed in similar slumber
I'm
attire.
sure.
And while I'm on the phone with him, I'm checking up on him. He's checking up on me. The Earth Wind classic, That's the Way of the World, comes on my Sonos speakers by coincidence. And Verdine begins to sing along casually to his own song. Hearts of fire, create love, desire. Now that song gives us all chills on a regular day. But with the world in flux, it sent chills down my spine even more. And I said, how fortunate am I to have relationships with so many of my musical heroes?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I immediately asked myself, is there a way I could give people around the world during this crazy time the feeling that I have right now? And a light bulb went off, and I immediately envisioned what became Pass the Mic. And a few months later, July 2nd, I believe, 2020, I premiered Pass the Mic Volume 1 online, on my own. And I thought it would be a little magical moment that might come and go. And it changed my life. And the reaction to that first episode was honestly greater than anything I had ever received on anything that I had ever been a part of.
Well, you know what? It probably was so impactful because it was at a different time. Like you said, everybody was at home. And to see you bringing the vibes, to see the artists there, we're like, oh my gosh, people are still, they're still connecting.
Yep, it really connected people to their favorite artists, to their musical heroes, to their idols in an intimate way like never before. And of course, on that episode, I passed the mic to Earth, Wind, and Fire, and to Ray Parker Jr. and Patrice Rushen and Cheryl Lynn and Howard Hewitt. And I immediately knew that there was a volume 2 on the horizon. And a couple months later, passed the mic to Run DMC, LL Cool J, Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, Public Enemy, Naughty by Nature, Salt and Pepper, a who's who of hip-hop golden era icons. And then there was a volume 3 with Keith Sweat and Boyz II Men and TLC and SWV and
How do you
En
remember
Vogue
each volume?
Oh, I was so heavily involved. It was all me. And so, I became fully engulfed in this process. Every minuscule second of these episodes was meticulously curated and put together over months. There was nothing live about these episodes. They were meticulously assembled.
And that had to
and
be
then
hard
aired
too.
to the world.
Yes, to get everybody right on track and have all the beats together.
It was a
and
tremendous-
the visuals, because we were still trying to figure out live, right?
I think everyone is still trying to figure out how those episodes were created.
Yeah.
And I have never fully divulged. We really cracked a code. Those episodes were not a Zoom call. They were not a FaceTime call. On any of those mediums, it's impossible to sing along in real time on beat.
Right.
So we really cracked a technological code. But the most interesting thing about it was we were cracking a technological code, but sparking an emotional chord.
Exactly. And a whole movement as a result.
Right. And so after 3 episodes, Steve Rifkin brought me to Jesse Collins. Jesse Collins brought me to Connie Orlando. And the next thing you know, it's Pass the Mic on BET. And after 1 special, we signed on for another 6. And after 10 epic episodes, I had passed the mic to 220 icons.
Are you serious?
220 icons over the course of only 10 episodes. I mean, everyone I just named, of course, from Earth, Wind, and Fire to Run DMC to LL Cool J, and then Gladys Knight and Patti LaBelle and Charlie Wilson and Wu-Tang Clan and Missy Elliott and Wyclef Jean and Shaggy and Sean Paul and Ja Rule and Ashanti and Ice Cube. And
You can't name all 220.
But I could, is the crazy part. And after the 10th episode, I retired the show. I knew in my heart that it was time to take the show on the road.
Yeah.
And from that point on, I partnered with the Black Promoters Collective, who were at the time on fire with the Mary J. Blige tour and the New Edition tour and the Maxwell tour. And now they're on fire with the Love Hard tour. Yeah. Keisha Cole, Trey Songz, K. Michelle, and Jaheim. And so they, stay on fire, and they understood my vision. And this brings us back to where we began a few minutes ago. And that, next chapter launched last year on Mother's Day. And it's only right that a year later, we bring it back to Newark, New Jersey, to the Prudential Center to bring the next iteration of Pass the Mic Live. And this lineup is iconic. I mean, first of all,
all of them are.
Yes. Yeah, that is true. But, first of all, Boyz II Men and TLC on one stage, I don't know if it's ever happened. It certainly doesn't happen often.
Right.
That alone is epic. We have hometown heroes, Faith Evans, hometown hero, Redman, hometown hero. There's so many exciting things happening that night that you just really have to be there to see it. The great thing about Pass the Mic Live is it's very similar to the TV show, but also very different. It exudes the same spirit, but you can't tune in. You have to be there in person.
That's why the energy is going to be crazy. All right, so pause for a second. We're going to take a break for a second, and we're going to find out more from DJ Cassidy, how he got his start and all that good stuff, because I want to learn all about it. And you switched up the hat.
It's the casual hat.
It's the Deja Vu Show. Been chopping it up with DJ Cassidy, creator of Pass the Mic. We're talking about the event that's going to be happening Mother's Day at the Prudential Center. But before you were, quote unquote, the DJ Cassidy, talk to us when you were DJ Cassidy, just getting the feel on the turntables and everything. How did that start for you?
Well, growing up, I was always a hip hop kid, infatuated with hip hop. And as far back as I can remember, hip-hop stars were my heroes. I was never into sports. I was never into comic books. My superheroes were Grandmaster Flash, Kool Herc, and Africa Bambaataa. And after that, my superheroes were Run DMC and Jam Master Jay. And I always wanted to take part, to contribute, to create. And I got my first set of turntables for my 10th birthday, and DJ Cassidy was born, and the rest is history. But it's been a long journey. I've been DJ Cassidy for 3/4 of my living years, since I was 10 years old. And at first, I DJ'd every little opportunity that I could possibly obtain.
Well, that's how you do. You got to build up.
Oh, yeah. Every little school function, every little homecoming party, every little prom, every little talent show. And slowly but surely, one thing led to another. And I ended up in the hot spots of New York City.
Yes, because you used to be at all of these clubs around town.
Yep. And that's really where it all started. And it's really been a snowball effect. People ask me, how did it all happen? And really one thing and one person led to the next. When I was a kid, I could have never imagined in my wildest dreams being the first DJ to ever DJ in the White House. And I was the first DJ to ever play in the White House. I was the first DJ to ever play a presidential inauguration.
Yeah.
I played Barack Obama's first inauguration. I played Barack Obama's second inauguration, his 50th birthday, First Lady Michelle Obama's 50th birthday, and so many other incredible events. So it's been an incredible ride. And I feel really that Pass the Mic is very much a culmination of all these years. Because if you asked me what was the one greatest thing so far about my career, or even about my life, I would probably say that the greatest gift has been the opportunity to celebrate my heroes.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful, because you're pulling, even when you did the first ones, you pulled a lot of folks who maybe hadn't been doing a whole bunch, especially during the pandemic, putting them on the screen for us to be able to see and to appreciate their music. Now, you have such a vast variety of musical tastes, but what's your favorite song, or one of your favorites that you have to play?
Wow, favorite song that I have to play.
When you're there.
Oh, I thought you were asking, like, what do you listen to when you're home? Okay.
Well, both.
Okay, I
give
can
me a little
answer
bit of
that
both.
too. So look, I'm going to give you an answer that we might find common or, perhaps not unique. And I think it might be common, but it's the truth. I think the greatest party record of all time and the most universal party record of all time is Michael Jackson, Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. And I get asked this question a lot. What's the greatest party record? What's the go-to? You know, I've DJ'd on almost every continent on the planet and in countless countries. I tried to count once and I don't think I hit the mark. And, you know, I've always taken pride in being the DJ that could play all music for all people all over the world. I've never only played one type of music. I've played all types of music for all types of crowds all over the world. And I can honestly say that the most universal dance record ever created is Michael Jackson, Don't Stop Till You Get Enough.
No, I would have never thought that. I would have never, maybe Michael, but not that particular cut. Wow.
Yep, that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
When you put that on the dance floor, everybody's there jamming.
It's just the most universal dance record ever made.
That is really interesting.
Yeah.
All right, so we know what you've been playing. Now, when you're at home and you're chilling and listening to the Sonos, what's the jam that you go to?
Okay, I listen to 3 kinds of music when I'm home, and all 3 kinds of music are fairly mellow, because when I'm home, I like to set a relaxing vibe. So I listen to Bossa Nova.
Really?
Yep, the
Okay,
Sergio Mendes Pandora station.
Uh-huh.
I listen to yacht rock.
I love yacht rock. People sleep on yacht rock.
People
That's
sleep
the
on
classic
yacht rock,
stuff, right?
Steely Dan, so on and so forth. And I listen to Quiet Storm soul music. And that's, chances are, if you walk into my home in LA right now, you'll hear some Quiet Storm, Isley Brothers, some Quiet Storm, Teddy, so on and so forth. Yeah, that's my number one home chill vibe.
That's your chill vibe for
And
somebody
always
who's
has
always
been.
turning up.
Always has been for as many years as I can remember.
And when did you fall in love? You said you grew up a hip hop kid, but when did you really know, like, this is my thing?
Yeah, so hip hop led me to the soul music of the 70s and 80s.
Gotcha.
And the soul music of the 70s and 80s was not my first love. In fact, when I was, you know, a child, I was very close-minded. I didn't want to hear anything else. But as I got deeper into hip hop and deeper into what my idols played as DJs, I realized that that was the foundation. And once I knew it was the foundation, I wanted to know everything about it. And slowly but surely, not even slowly, very fast, I should say, I fell in love with that music. And so although the soul music of the 70s and 80s was never solely what I played, it became my signature sound in many respects. And, you know, of course, when you say soul music of 70s and 80s, it can mean many things. It can mean soul, R&B, funk, disco. There are many words to describe, the subcategories of the genre. But then when it's time for the chill vibes at home, it's nothing but the Quiet Storm.
Look at you. Okay. DJ Cassidy in the Quiet Storm. All right, so cool. We're going to talk more about that in just a few minutes. Hang on, because I want to ask you about you and your connection with Mary J.
Yes.
Keep it here. 107.5 WBLS, DJ Cassidy hanging out with us. You've talked to us about Pass the Mic. You've talked to us about your love of music. And now you are producing, or have you been doing that all along?
Not all along, but I have been. But there's something new that's currently on the airwaves. Go ahead, you intro.
Okay, all right. We are blowing up Mary J. Blige's Still Believe in Love. And so you produced that song?
I did.
Talk to me about this. How did this connection go?
So right before the pandemic began, I heard that Mary was starting to work on new music. And I had always had a playlist in my iTunes that I never told anyone about. And it was a list of songs that I thought that Mary J. should use in her music, either samples, interpolations, covers.
Right.
I don't know when and why. I don't know when and why I started this playlist, but many years ago, every time I heard a record that had never been sampled by any artist that made me think of Mary, I said, you know what, maybe one day she'll use this or I could bring this to her.
Were y'all already cool?
I met Mary through my DJ career, and we developed a relationship over the years, but this playlist predated that relationship.
Wow.
So, you know, Mary has had such a definitive sound over the years, and her second album is my favorite, My Life. I believe it to be her most definitive album, and it's my favorite. And it's so iconic, the sound, the style, the look, the time, the culture of that era.
Yeah.
And I ended up with this playlist of like 50 records.
50 records?
R&B records from the 70s and 80s that had never been sampled or interpolated by anyone before, to my knowledge, that for some reason exuded Mary J. Blige. And I heard that she was working on new music, and I reached out to her. And the next thing I knew, Mary and her team come to my home in LA for a little intimate listening session in my living room. Now, I'm not saying that lightly. I was very flattered that Mary J was coming over. I suggested I go to the studio. They were like, no, we're in the area. So I'm all psyched up, making the house nice.
Yes, right.
Put it on the fireplace, setting a vibe. And I said to Mary, I have a vision. I'd like to produce a record for you. And I want to channel the sound of the My Life album, but bring it to present day. And I said, I'm going to play you a list of records that I'm sure you know of, from artists that you've admired your whole life, records that came out, say, between 75 and 85, roughly. And if you love these records and you feel yourself in these records, I would like to make new records for you, using these records as inspiration in some way. And she loved the idea. And we went on to record over an album's worth of music.
Really?
And I Still Believe in Love is the first record that she's released from that batch of music.
So are you going to be doing more? Will we be hearing, can we get an exclusive? Are we getting more?
I believe we will be. It's really a question for Mary. But there, I shall say it this way, there are many more where that came from.
I will say this, and this is unbiased. When I heard that song, I'm like, yo, this is a vibe. It feels good and it sounds good. And even the messaging, I mean, you know, because we've known about Mary and all this, but the fact that she still believes in love, and you got that I still believe it. That's it. And for an R&B, that's core R&B.
Yeah.
That's just as a listener and as a professional, but the song is dope.
Thank you so much. You know, I wanted to create records with her that make me feel the way I feel when I hear songs like Be Happy.
Yes.
And All Night Long.
Yeah.
And that was my goal.
What did you use as the model for this particular song? Can you tell us?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no. So this song features a sample and an interpolation of Mtume's song, COD. And James Mtume was on my show, Pass the Mic, not long before he passed.
And he used to work here.
Right.
Yeah.
In fact, I think that my show might have been the last thing of the sort that he did before he passed on television. And I was very honored to have him take part. And his son, Fa, is an amazing guy. And he called me when he heard this record. He said, okay, this is you. He said, okay, we're going to get this through for you and Mary. And it's been so incredible to see the song take off over the past few months. Shout out to Jeff Giddy, who co-produced the record with me. Shout out to Steve Rifkin, who was a major part of the journey as well. And shout out to Elliot Trent and Jughead for co-writing the song with Mary. But, you know, Mary is knee-deep in the studio. I'm sure some people know and some people don't. Knee-deep in the creation of her songs. You can bring Mary an idea, and she's going to mold that idea into Mary J. Blige. And what I love about Mary is I told Mary I had a concept. She came, she listened, she loved. And then she made it Mary J. Blige. And if it ended right after this song, it would be a highlight of my life. The song is still going. And I will tell you, people say it must be so exciting to hear your Mary J. Blige song on the radio. And I say it's the best feeling in the world. But you know what feeling I haven't felt yet?
What's that?
I haven't seen her perform it live. And I cannot wait until I finally do. And I'm really hoping that this song makes it into her vast repertoire of songs. Because, you know, she has way too many hits to do in one show.
Of course.
You have to narrow it down. So if you make that you know you made it.
You're good. Will Mary be at a possible Pass the Mic Live?
Oh, I'm sure I'm sure there's one in the future. You know, the Pass the Mic Live experience has just begun.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure that's in the cards for the future.
All right. Well, we love it. Now, what you did with Mary, do you have lists like that for other artists that you aspire to work with?
I have a little here and a little there, but I must be real, none to that extent. That list was a crazy thing that just developed so organically, and that's why it led to this music being so great. But I will tell you, as a strategy of musical production, it's a great strategy. If you hear a record that makes you think of someone, save it. Because one day that record might inspire you to create something for an artist.
I love that. That's a dope one. That's almost like a hustler's tip. All right, before you go, can you give us a hustler's tip in the industry, something you've learned for people who might want to learn to start their business or something like that?
I got one.
Give me one.
All right, I got one, and it's really a reiteration of something I said to you a few minutes ago.
Okay, go.
It's been the greatest key to my career and to my life, the greatest gift. And I don't know that I ever thought about it until recently. I did it, but I never thought about it. Celebrate your heroes. If you celebrate those that inspired you, it will lead to inspiration. It's all right in front of you.
That's good.
Celebrate the music that you've always loved. Celebrate the artists that you've always admired, and great things will come.
That's perfect. DJ Cassidy, where will we see you next? Because you're going to Milan, and then what else are you doing for the rest of the year?
Saturday, May 11th, Prudential Center, Newark, New Jersey. On stage to Boyz II Men, TLC, Bobby Brown, Method Man, Redman, Faith Evans, Total, and of course, you know how I do. Special surprise guests, New York, New Jersey. You don't want to miss this. I'm coming back home. Get your tickets now. It's almost sold out. Steve Rifkin, Shelby Joyner, Black Promoters Collective. It's an incredible group of people, and we're bringing you something you do not want to miss. A one night only, once in a lifetime, legendary night.
This dude's a professional, for real. Thank you, DJ Cassidy, for stopping by.
Thank you so much, and thank you, BLS, my favorite station in the world. And I love you for supporting me year after year. Anytime you need me, I'm here, and I hope to see you all at the show.